Good evening. This is UK Colts fans with my co-host, as always, Xavier. Xavier, say hello.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Today we have something different, something hopefully we can make a good series out of. It's a bit more interesting for the expertise people, let's say, or if you just want to learn more about what a lineman or what a positional player should be doing. We're going to try and break them down. It's called Film Room. Hopefully it's a new series that can get up and running, which counts on the fans watching to interact with us and let us know who you want us to break down. I'll be saying my standpoint from a complete amateur point of view. Never played the game, only watched it and only loved it. Xavier's going to be breaking it down a bit more because he knows the ins and outs, especially in the lineman position. You played offensive line, or do you play a bit of both?
Played a bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
In college, I played strictly offensive line, but most of my life I played both sides of the ball.
So you would have been going up against someone like Justin Houston.
I mean, I did play against a couple four-star recruits in high school, my junior and senior year.
Yeah.
Played it for Painesville. Both of them are playing at West Virginia right now. So I haven't played against Justin Houston, I guess, but played against it a little bit of talent my days.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah. So this game we have got up is the Colts versus the Green Bay Packers. We've got this game up, I believe it was week 11, something like that. Colts won it 31-28 overtime, if you remember the fumble by MVS. We chose this game because it shows the good and the bad of Justin Houston. The first play, we're going to talk through it now. We'll roll it through once. Justin Houston, as you can see on the screen, is highlighted. And I'll undo the highlight, let the play roll, and then we'll talk through. We'll let the play roll through all angles, and then we'll talk through it. So this play was in the first quarter at the 5:19 mark, I believe. So there's Justin Houston highlighted. Let it roll. Okay, watching it from the second angle now, Xavier, if you just want to talk through what you're seeing from Justin Houston.
Yeah. You does this have a slow-mo feature? That
I don't think so. No. I don't think so. But we can break it down, I can always pause it.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so he's going to get off the ball there. He's going to do a great job of setting up for an outside play. He's going to stick his inside hand on his inside chest plate. And then when he goes to reach for him, he's going to smack down immediately, get his hands off of him, and take his corner. That's just an excellent job. And this is what Justin Houston thrives on. I mean, savvy moves. At this age, for himself, he's more of that rotational pass rusher guy, that third down guy comes in, gets off that, pins his ears back, gets off the edge, and tries to make a play on third down for his team. And he does a great job of that. I will say that he does do an excellent job doing exactly what I just said. Yeah. And like I said, as you can see on that play, when you put him up against a guy who's like 77, he's coming off the bench. He's not very experienced. They had to rotate their line around because of that. As you can see, Elton Jenkins is a center, or as left guard. Usually have him at center because of injury. 77 is a bench player. So whenever you give Justin Houston an easier matchup like this, he's going to eat every time. You're going to see that a lot of games. This is football. People are going to get injured. People are going to be unhealthy. And anytime you can give Justin Houston this matchup like this, typically he's going to win it just because he has a deep repertoire of moves.
You could say he's sort of like because he is a wily veteran, he smelt the blood and he knows he's got he knows the line's a bit beat up, so he knows this is his chance to prove it. But what makes Justin Houston here go around the outside? Did he know that running back was going to try and cut through the middle. That's why he went around. Or does
No,
he? Is that just
I,
instinct?
I think it was just reading the player. I think 77, he could see his feet were a little slow. I think he seen that he could outpace 77. Really, I think he's seen that he could just get his edge, run faster than him. As long as he can get his hands off him, he can get the corner on him and get this sack. So that's just a good read by Justin Houston. In all honesty,
Yeah.
being able to read his man, being able to read his assignment, I should say.
Yeah, and now Justin Houston being the veteran that he is, he's got his eyes on Rodgers, knowing that Aaron Rodgers doesn't have his eyes on him. He knows this sack's coming, doesn't he? He can feel it coming. He's big man, like you said, 77s. He's got, by the looks of it there, Justin Houston's got him with both feet off the ground with only one hand, which isn't a good look for an offensive lineman. But yeah, and just does a great job of letting Aaron Rodgers know that, look out because I'm coming.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm sure Aaron Rodgers is never worried about Bakhtiari letting up a sack to Tyquan Lewis. Let's all be honest here. Yeah. I mean, on that play, the only way pressure could come was going to be from Justin Houston. Once he realized that what he was looking for was locked up, he pulled the ball down and immediately felt that pressure from Houston. And, it was wraps after he got a hold of it. So, I mean, again, hats off to Houston on that play. That's just a great read. Again, that's an excellent setup. He loves that inside arm jab. The last play we're going to see, he's going to do the same thing. He's going to use that inside arm jab to create leverage, get the offensive line off balance, to create that pressure.
Okay. So I'm just going to let the tape roll. This is a nothing play. This is just a punt as we going on to a second play. I'll pause it just before the second play starts again, so we can talk through starting positions and all that. Okay, this is the first angle. This is probably the best angle at what we can see all around. Justin Houston's here on the edge. Just describe maybe from a lineman perspective or even a quarterback perspective, you was there to protect that guy. What is Aaron Rodgers seeing on the field here in front of him?
In this scenario, he is looking at the quarterback solely. That's all he's looking at. He has great awareness. He has great ability to pick apart a play, read a play. And that's something that all good weak side defensive ends will always be able to do. And that's being able to decipher where the ball is going. And to be able to do that, who do you have to look at? Quarterback, of course. So on this play, as you can see, like every other play, he's going to line up, get his stance, getting a good, clean stance. It's going to give him, ample opportunity to fire off the ball. Going to look at Aaron Rodgers here. And if I'm not mistaken, they should bring a tight end in motion, right? If you roll the film a little bit.
Yep. When it decides to play. Just snaps.
I think it's the next play.
Next play. That's my great editing skills. But anyway, you've got another free play. I think it might be just after this play, but we'll let it roll.
Yeah, because he did do a good job on that play. They just brought the double team.
Yeah.
He did a good job of setting up the out. See, first play. I guess I could break this down too. First play, he sets up the inside with the inside jab there and goes to the outside. That time he hit him with the inside jab and tries to come back inside. The double team collapses, or he honestly would have had another pressure right there.
This is the play we was meant to watch. Yeah. So again, Justin Houston lining up in his weak side spot or offside spot, depending on what you want to call it. he can see, what is it, 3 wide. Like you said, they're probably going to bring a tight end in motion. When somebody goes in motion, are you thinking audible at the line? Or are you thinking stick to your zone, stick to your assignment?
Well, there's a couple things for a defensive end. So for a defensive end, two of the biggest things that I look at when I'm looking at a defensive end, whether I like them or not, that is one, getting off the ball, two, getting your hands on. So in any level of football, especially collegiate NFL level, getting out the ball and getting your hands on as a defensive lineman on your matchup, the person you're lined up over, is the most important thing you can do, because as a defensive tackle, you are keeping your linebackers behind you clean by not letting the guards, if they're trying to run by you, just run right to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even if the ball is coming to you and there's another person coming in to trap you, you want to disrupt. That's what getting off the ball and getting your hands on will do. And especially for Justin Houston, when this tight end is lined up over him, that's free reign. That's a tight end. You get to get off the ball, put your hands on him, and disrupt his route just for a second to throw the timing off of the quarterback, just to help out your linebackers and your corners as well. So that's one of the things on this play I noticed he did. He did a really good job of that. And he also deciphers the play and makes the tackle, but you'll see once you roll it.
Yeah. Play it, roll. His run stopping ability has never been questioned, really, has it? Justin Houston, that's what he's known for. So that was quite an interesting little look. Just as he goes down to a knee there, if I highlight, maybe this isn't a good thing for, like you said, that's a tight end. To look back at his quarterback, that sort of gives it away that something else is changing, right? Because for him to look back, Justin Houston's going to be looking at him thinking, well, I know the play's changed now, so I know what I need to do to change it, to change his approach. Because he probably thinking, I'm just going to go flat out at this tight end, running over and go to Aaron Rodgers. Now all of a sudden he's thinking something different.
Yeah. Houston right there is, he's in a pivotal spot here to make this read. This is one of the RPO plays. He's going to read Houston depending on what he's going to do. They're going to try to run this inside zone. They're going to try. Houston's going to do a good job of doing first thing what he's supposed to do, explode off the ball, get his hands on his matchup, what he does. And then once he deciphers what's happening, reads that play, hawks down the running back on the inside zone, probably saves another 3 or 4 yards. It's just a really savvy play by him. A great job of having the awareness to read what's happening, and being, again, a good enough athlete to track down the running back who's already got a yard or 2 head start.
So, yeah. I think the next one was straight after. Or was that? Yeah. Okay, yeah. So that's that one, yeah. I will find a better way of doing this, a smoother way of doing this. But technology. So this is the next play. Just double check, yeah. Aaron Rodgers in a spread sort of, 5 wide sort of formation. I mean, this is the age-old question of when you see a quarterback in the backfield by himself, do you bring pressure, or do you sit off and hope that you can lock up?
Yeah, that's you're right about that. That's a tough question, especially for our defense, because of course we got DeForest Buckner, we got Justin Houston, but DeForest Buckner can only do so much by himself. If Justin Houston isn't having a good day, what can we do, really?
Yeah.
I think we were the team that blitzed the least this year, I think, or the second least, something like that. So we didn't bring a lot of pressure. We stuck to our guns, our Tampa 2 defense, and we kept it simple. Really, what we did, we have a really fast, young, athletic defense. Our defensive coordinator understands that. He keeps it simple, and he trusts in these front four up here. And you know, to be fair, I kind of agree with him. I think we got a lot of young defensive ends. I think we got Justin Houston as well, or we had Justin Houston as well, who's a savvy older guy that can, on most occasions, get the job done. So I tend to agree with his philosophy there when it comes to just rushing the defensive lineman. Sometimes it don't work. Majority of the time for us, though, it does.
Yeah. Okay, I'll let this roll so we can talk about it. For me, and I know I said it earlier, but I'll say it again now that we're recording, is that you look at, I believe it's Al-Qadim Mohammed on this right-hand side of your screen. And, you know, you watch the speed that he gets to Aaron Rodgers compared to Houston. This is where you can see maybe age is starting to regress a little bit. All right, so if we just watch this again. I mean, first of all, 77 probably didn't have a great game, but that's an excellent jump off the ball there to say that's an excellent, you know, snap count. Because half a second earlier, it's a flag. Because watching it back, I thought it was. I thought he got a false start, but he just timed it perfect. You know, Justin Houston trying to force his way there. But that's Aaron Rodgers. He gets off passes like that. He's a veteran quarterback. But yeah, just, you know, you see how quickly the other defensive end, Al-Qadim, well, I've lost my bloody place now, gets to Aaron Rodgers compared to Justin Houston. You'll see where this is why we need to strengthen up that position. I mean, I've lost the play because of this. There it is. Is there anything you want to add to that? Or?
Yeah. I mean, I just agree. I think again, we have a lot of young defensive ends, a lot of young guys that have a lot of potential. Especially, I mean, Muhammad's one of them. Taekwon Lewis is one of them, and then especially Kamoko Toure. I think Kamoko Toure is kind of like this, just, you know, volcano just waiting to erupt. I think he's just that kind of caliber of a player. Once he can get it going, I think he will continuously be a force in this league on our team. We just got to get him to that point because he's an exceptional athlete. He's explosive. He has good hand usage. His footwork is good. I mean, I love Kamoko Toure. Love him to death. I just wish he could stay healthy. If he could stay healthy, we might be able to get that, see that.
I mean, again, from my view, like looking at our defensive line now, is it usual to be this way? I mean, because it seems quite spread to me. I'm guessing, you know, it's Aaron Rodgers. He's probably not going to try and run it up the middle. So is that just more, you know, if that was Lamar Jackson behind there, would you see the line a bit more compressed in?
Yeah, possibly. This is wide. This is a wide 9 technique.
Yeah.
So both the defensive ends are in 9 techs. So if they move down one more step, that'd be a 7.
Mm-hmm.
Lined up directly over him is a 5. If you line up over his inside leg, it's a 5-eye of the tackle. Or 4-eye, my fault. Then 5, 7, 9. Sorry.
So it works outwards to say from the center outwards.
Yeah. So the center would be a 0.
Yeah.
Lining up on one of the center's legs would be a 1. Lining up on the inside of a guard's leg would be a 3-eye. Over top of the guard would be a 3. Over top of the tackle would be a 4. Inside the tackle's leg would be 4-eye. And then outside the tackle is a 5. Then you got a 7 if you move out towards tight end. If there's 2 tight ends, you're lined up outside of them. That's a 9. But these guys are in 9s. And the reason are in nines is to stretch these tackles out and give the inside rushers some lanes to move, because they, as you can see, they have Buckner and Tyquan Lewis in, two guys that can both get out after the quarterback from the inside position. So this stretches the offensive lineman out and gives at least Tyquan Lewis or DeForest Buckner a one-on-one in some scenario.
Yeah, they're obviously double teaming. You know, we'll break this down.
Yeah. I mean,
but then you've got, like you say, you've got Houston, Lewis, and Mohammed all on a single man, which you want, which is good. I suppose that's why you do it. You know, this is why defensive coordinators get paid millions to do this, to work this out. But yeah, we'll finish rolling this one and then we'll move on to the next one. That's just a good play by Rodgers to get out. You know, he stayed in the pocket, feel like he's collapsing and to get out. Was this the next one or?
I think that was the one before it, but after watching it that first time, I kind of thought it was a good play to break down too. So I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
So the play after this one, this was the first one this was the 44-25, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the play after this one's the next one. Watch it.
Okay. I mean, yeah, we'll just break it all down.
Hey, man. I mean, hey.
Yeah. Okay. So going into this play, then the play before the play before the play before was meant to break down. You know, so
we've already broken this play down. We need to go to the next.
Yeah. Okay. So this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So somehow it got wound backwards after we broke this one down.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is the running it. Yeah. Yeah. I think I must have clipped back too far.
Hell, we're good, man. Just breaking down some film.
Yeah. Okay. 137. This was the next one, right? Well, this was the first or the next one. I can't. Anyway, this was the next play. Well, it is the next play we're going to break down. So I'll let it run through once and then we'll watch it from the front on angle. Oh, this is it.
So yeah, the play we just saw was pretty much the same thing, like literally the exact same thing. Yeah. Except last time they tried to fake him out by sending that tight end to the flats, hoping that he would be committing to him just long enough to where he wouldn't be able to get back into the play. But Houston was still smart enough to get his hands on, get back, fight back, make that tackle. etc. But here he is they're not going to do that. They're going to adjust that. They're going to let Robert Tonyan try to down block on him and block him far enough to where this running back will be able to hit this hole faster. But that's not going to happen. Justin Houston's still going to be able to keep his face mask on the inside of Robert Tonyan's face mask and still be able to make this tackle. So Houston is still able to adapt in this situation. They tried to go at him twice with this inside zone scheme that, Robert LaFleur and the Green Bay Packers absolutely love. They love their inside zone quick hitters for 6, 7, 8 yards. We didn't allow this the whole game. I think they had 22 rushes for like 60-something yards. So we did a great job of shutting their run down, which, we did to pretty much everyone. We even did that to Cleveland. So that's not a big surprise to me. But yeah, just great job from Houston here, just being able to adapt, being able to read the run yet again. He's just such a smart player. If you put him on a pedestal, and go at him like Robert LaFleur tried to do 2 plays in a row right here, he's going to make you pay a majority of times. He's a smart player. You can't leave a tight end on him and expect him to be able to one-on-one block one of the best defensive ends we've seen the last decade.
I'll let it roll because I want to ask something. So you see here Aaron Rodgers, adjusting on the line, making these reads. I believe he brings in the wide receiver. Yeah, he does. 17 here. Obviously, Leonard pushes up a bit, maybe to cover that. But Justin Houston's not even flinching. But do you reckon in the back of your mind Justin Houston's keeping an eye on him, or for a defensive end, is that completely out of the question? Stick to the quarterback.
I think Justin Houston has a pretty good idea of what's going on right here, just based on 77 stance. 77 kind of has a tail. A lot of offensive linemen do have tails.
Mm-hmm.
Like great offensive linemen don't, as you can see, Bakhtiari over there, right tackle, he don't.
Yeah.
He has a solid stance. That's how he looks all the time. But 77, as you can see, he's leaning inside. He's got all of his weight on his front left leg. He's even leaning towards Buckner. And it just looks like he's going to down block right here. And he does.
Yeah.
So I think Houston had a pretty good idea of what was happening on this play. We'll see it roll.
Yeah, instantly. He knows where it's going, doesn't he?
Yep.
Instantly. It's crazy, like a person like Houston picks up all these things within about 7 seconds. He's computing all this in his head, from breaking out the huddle to going to the line. So we'll move on to the next play, because I believe that was it for the second quarter. The next play being I've got 59-14.
Yeah. That's what I got to.
So I believe this is. We'll get there in the end. Okay, so this is the play. 59. Well, I've got 59-10, but it'll be the same play, 59-14. I'll quickly highlight Justin Houston, obviously, just so we don't get disorientated. Here he is. On the outside. Is there, I know it's just formations and stuff, but is there a reason you would bring a close free here? I'll highlight them quickly. These three here, and leave this sort of gap here, or is that just Matt Eberflus and formations?
Yeah, it's the strong side. I just look on the line. They have 2 guys snug down here.
Yeah.
If they were to run power right here with their running back, and we did not do this, there'd be a big gap, like automatically, just by personnel wise.
Mm-hmm.
Just with the 2 receivers over here, the tight end snugged as well to the line. You kind of have to do this, because again, if you hit right off that center's hip or right off that right guard's hip right here, and we have Stewart moved over 1 gap to the left and Buckner moved over 1 gap to the left, there's going to be 2 free double teams straight to the linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be disaster. This is just, the setup is very good, in all honesty. It's as good as you could really get it, this scenario. I see what you're saying, though. It looks like there's a lot of room to the left, right?
Yeah.
Looks like there's just a lot of running room. I think Eberflus has a lot of confidence in Grover Stewart, who is at the 1 tech right there, to be able to take on this double team from 76 to 74.
Mm-hmm.
If they were to decide run that inside zone, and he does do a good job of that. I mean, we saw Grover Stewart, I mean, absolutely eat double teams all season.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, just to answer your question, I think that's just based on how much the Packers have on that right side of their offense.
Okay, I'll let it roll so I can watch it through. Now, that's something interesting. So, receiver goes in motion, you know, off defensive line doesn't flinch at all, doesn't even move, doesn't adjust. Obviously, you know, Darius Slade and Anthony Walker, Kenny Moore will all be telling each other move across. But just is it? I'm guessing it's the same reason the defensive line doesn't adjust as we just said, because there's still that running back there. You don't want to open up space for them.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, wait, is that the play? No, that's the next play.
That's the next play.
I mean that play. I kind of displayed another, just what Houston is like on running downs against good tackles. You know, he's going to struggle.
Yeah.
He's 33, 32. He's not. I guess. I mean, he's not old. You know, I mean, he's only 10 years older than me. But to be in the NFL as a defensive end, once you've hit that 32-year-old age kind of area, you're not a run stopper anymore.
Yeah.
It's just not what your game is. I mean, unless you're really big, like 300 pounds playing defensive tackle or something.
And
you can't.
Yeah. You've been in the league, what, 7 to 10 years already? Your body takes a beating over that time, especially for linemen. So it's just natural regression. You know, it's not him getting worse. It's just that comes with age. You're going to get slower. You're going to get a bit lackadaisical and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll watch this battle that I've highlighted now. Like you said, he struggled a bit. Is there a particular reason he struggles? Is it wrong technique, or is it just a great play by the offensive lineman?
Yeah, he's just not that guy. I mean, I don't know how else to put it other than that.
Yeah.
Like, his technique's not an issue. He's a very sound technician when it comes to his play style, in my opinion. But you know, he is working against David Bakhtiari, who is, in my opinion, and kind of like a general consensus at this point, the best left tackle in the league. You know, David Bakhtiari is an incredibly talented guy. He's not the best run blocker. I mean, he's not a bad run blocker, and he's not even, and he's probably better than above average as well. He's probably a good run blocker, but he's not. But he is an elite pass protector. He's not known for moving guys off the ball, but right there, he got square in the chest of Houston, moved him back 2 or 3 yards. You know, Houston has to set that edge in that scenario, and no, he didn't. No, he couldn't. And if you go watch a few other games on running downs, it's kind of the same story. You know, he's not the same person in that pure running style. Now, when it comes to the plays I displayed, though, where they try to run that RPO, that read option stuff, and force you to make a decision on what you're doing, he is an absolute one of the smartest players in the league. He can decipher what he needs to do, like them 2 plays we watched before. But when it comes to that power run scheme, that zone run scheme where they're coming right at you, that's not his forte. That's it. That's kind of one of his weaknesses if you watch the film.
Yeah. Okay. And I believe we're on to the play in the last quarter now, aren't we? If that's the next one.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll just find it quickly. I've got 1:40:22.
Possibly. I didn't get to write that one down. I didn't.
I mean, we'll roll it. Looks like we're close enough to the end, so it might be 1, if not 2 plays.
I mean, the more film, the merrier. It's all good.
Yeah. It's awful that they say. I mean, this is the first one. This is the pilot, so obviously there's going to be wrinkles. They'll line them out. But late in the game now, Green Bay, I believe we went 31-28. Oh, so Green Bay are already in field goal range, but they're trying to win it. In the dying seconds, here's Justin Houston, lining up in his spot. At this point, I mean, personally, at this point, it's good body language from, Green Bay's offensive line by the look of it, because I think if I was playing at this point, I'd be knackered. I'd probably be on both knees just hoping to trip Justin Houston up. I take it, body language is a massive part of the game, especially in these tight situations.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I pointed out earlier, you can kind of see what a player is doing by how they hold themselves on the offensive line, especially in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Like I said, Bakhtiari on the right side there, his stance is super consistent. You'll see that with a lot of offensive linemen. Quentin Nelson, super consistent. Zach Martin, super consistent. The 77 over here likes to lean on that front foot a lot. A lot. And what does that do? It allows your outside edge to be opened up, especially if you're a slower offensive lineman like 77 is.
Yeah.
And I don't remember correctly if he does get the outside right here, but we saw first play that we broke down. Yeah. He immediately gets his outside edge because 77 isn't slow enough to get back in his drop with that front lean.
Yeah. Well, I'll let it roll. Yeah, for me watching that, if that's any other time in the game and Aaron Rodgers isn't trying a quick slant, maybe to make it a bit more of a chip shot for his kicker, Justin Houston probably gets a sack here. Because 77, like you say, he's leaning. You can tell he's leaning because he has to spring backwards. And, you can just see him coming through there. If Justin Houston does get it, DeForest Buckner gets it. And the only reason it gets off because I think of game circumstances. We'll just watch it back quickly. One last time. I'll find it. Okay. Is there anything else you see that catches your eye in this play? Maybe even from other linemen?
Yeah, Kamoko Ture. I mean, I know he ends up on his back in that scenario, but he almost put David Bakhtiari in Aaron Rodgers' lap. And you got to think this is like a 230-pound guy. This isn't 230, 240. He's not huge. Bakhtiari is 320 pounds. You can just see the speed, the explosion out of him right there, man. It looks good. It does.
And that's just more of a testament to how good Bakhtiari is, really. Or Bakhtiari.
Yeah, absolutely.
I believe this is actually the last play of the game, really. Well, the last play of normal time and the last play we can break down. So I'll just highlight Justin Houston quickly. Houston here in his normal spot as usual. As a defense, we got lucky against the Texans twice. Lightning struck twice. But what are you thinking in these situations? Because you don't want to give up. I mean, do you go and win the game, or do you not want to? You play a bit more conservatively because you don't want to give up the touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, you're asking me in this situation, what would I do defensively?
Oh, yeah. What would you, or what do you think is going through our defense's heads right now? Because it looks like a bit of a. God, this is going to be proving me out. But I'd say it looks like a zone coverage. Maybe, a bit of a hybrid with these two out wide. But, yeah, are you thinking, let's get to the quarterback and win the game? Or are you thinking, let's just lock up?
Yeah, I think it's I think it's a bit of both. I think the defensive line's working to get there.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way in hell knowing Eberflus, we're sending a blitz in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Be honest here. Eberflus won't blitz when it's 1st and 10 at the start of the game, 2nd and 10. He won't blitz in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. He's definitely not blitzing in the 4th. But in this scenario, yeah, I think we're playing the drop to the goal line, make sure they do not get in the end zone. This is just I'm sure this is some cover 3, cover 2 kind of look right here. I haven't looked at the full play, but
yeah, I mean, I'll let it roll. I mean, that's good pressure, really. Late in the game, you could easily be slow off the line. You could let Aaron Rodgers get a throw off quite easily without any panic. But
yeah, we dodged a bullet too. Watch their tight end there, Robert Tunyon on this play. On the right side right there, 85. Let's take a look at him.
God, wide open.
Oh man, I mean butt naked in the back right. That's crazy.
Yeah. Somebody switched it off there.
Yeah, that was definitely a miscue between it looked like Kari Willis and whoever was the outside corner on that side. I didn't get a good look at it.
But
looks like Sin. Is that Sin right there? 26?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of them guys were supposed to pick up Tunyon. The other one's supposed to go with I think number 13's Alan Lazard, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. If you're asking me, I'd say looking at eyes or looking at helmet placement, really, I'd say Rocky Sin's looking at the tight end here. And unfortunately, I'm sure we can do a film room on Rock and where he needs to improve next year, but this is why fans get annoyed with him, because this is where he's bad. This is where he can cost us games. He's cost us points in these situations. And yeah, like you say, miscue and we escape one. If Philip Rivers had missed that, then Twitter would have known about it.
Yeah,
because it's Aaron Rodgers, he escaped, I think.
Yeah, well, another thing is that's a really well-designed play, in all honesty, because if you look at it, the running back is open in the flats, and then the tight end is wide open in the back right corner. So, I mean, it looks like it was just a good design play. I think Aaron Rodgers really just tried to force it to Devontae Adams, who was one-on-one with Kenny Moore, but Kenny Moore did a good job of locking him up on that play.
I will say, what we say about Justin Houston, old guy, late in the 4th, a tough game, tough sledded game. Just watch the way he bounces off his player here. And I think maybe from earlier in the game, we said Rodgers didn't really feel the presence of Justin Houston coming in around that side because he was looking the other way. Maybe here is what stops him going to Tunyon, because he can see Justin Houston here, as well as I don't know. I think that might be Mohammed on the other side coming in, which a quarterback's going to want to get every single read in, right? He's going to want to look at his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th option 2 times. That would be the ideal world for a quarterback. I just think we're lucky he didn't have the time to get to look at Robert Tunyon, because if he did, that would have been game over.
Yeah, Justin Houston did a good job of getting the pressure that play.
Yeah,
and that's another reason why I thought he forced it to Devontae Adams. I mean,
yeah,
Devontae Adams is probably a top 3. I mean, most people have him as in their top 3 for wide receivers right now. Like, he's an incredible talent. You leave him one-on-one, you're getting pressured. Your best receiver on your team has a one-on-one with our nickel corner. I mean, odds are it's going to work out in your favor. If you throw it to him, you're going to get an incompletion or a catch, either one. So I think that was kind of like the rationale in his head. Again, if Justin Houston didn't get such a good pass rush, he might have found Robert Tunyon in the back right of the end zone for a touchdown to end the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the reasons I threw this in here, how crucial it was, such a clutch play from him.
That inside chest plate move. You said he liked it, and that was just prime example of it there. I wish I could. I'll try and find out a way how we can slow this down, so we can properly break it down. Just take it back a bit. Oh, that's a bit. He gets his hands. I mean, for a lineman, he comes in underneath and he's sort of like up and pushes his man out the way. For a defensive lineman, say, or a defensive end, do you want to get low and around, or I believe Robert Mathers was one who was good at the swim move, going up and over and coming down. What do you reckon? Is it just what works best for you at the time, or do these defensive ends, does it depend on the matchup? Does it depend on the formation? Does it depend on the play?
Yeah, I think it's exactly what you just said at the end. I think it's just studying your matchup, because as you could see right there on that play, Houston had been beating him to his outside the whole time. And what does 77 do once he throws that inside hand? He sits to his outside. He jumps immediately to his outside, and Houston darts back to the inside, gets, right to the quarterback. Watch there. Boom. Sits a little too far to the outside. And Houston's using that inside hand to leverage him up, get him off balance onto his outer foot so he can beat him to the inside. Houston can beat you in more than one way. That's one of the things I do like about Houston coming back, having him on the team. He can do it in more than one way. It doesn't just have to be I run to the outside.
Yeah. That's all, eventually got through to the end. We did a few more plays than we expected, but that's, we might as well break it down while we're here. That's the end for this film room, unless you have anything you want to add. I'll say we'll do our conclusion on Justin Houston and whether we think we should re-sign him or whether we think he should go. I would love Justin Houston back, but as a coach, as a locker room guy, not as a player. I think he'd be a great mentor for Ben, for Taekwon, and for Alcade. These, and Grover Stewart, these guys who are young and need a bit of leadership. Now that they've got into the league, they can perfect the talents. They can start not taking shortcuts, but what's the wording for it? They can learn all the little savvy tricks and the wily veteran stuff off Justin Houston.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think he could. I think he could still be a serviceable player on third down. So just as a pass rusher, but I was showing the rep against Bakhtiari. That happens to anyone that is an average or better run blocker. When we played the Bengals, he was getting tore up. I mean, he was getting ate alive. I mean, there's a lot of people that was getting ate alive against the Bengals, which was really surprising. Like, I didn't expect the Bengals to run block as well as they did against us. We still won, but it was, it wasn't like it was just Justin Houston is kind of what I'm saying, but he had the worst of it. He was getting moved. I saw one play where he got moved 8 yards by, a mid-level tackle in the league. That just can't happen. That's not practical for a guy that's playing 1 through 3 downs on a consistent basis, because he played 60% of the reps this year. If that could be cut to 40, again, play him on the third downs, on the second and long, stuff like that. Get him in there whenever they're rushing the passer. I think he'd be just fine. But I don't think he'll command anywhere near a contract that he did last year, this year.
Yeah, I think that's about right. That's it for the first episode of the Film Room. I'd like to thank everyone who watches, likes, subscribes, all that jazz. Comment, let us know who you want to see. I will sort out some where we start putting out weekly polls of who you want us to break down in Film Room. Doesn't have to be a Colts player, just any player in the league. Your favourite players, other team players, you know, I'm sure we'd both love to break down Derrick Henry. That'd be an excellent Film Room to do. Stuff like that, for example. Xavier, you can go follow him on Twitter at I'm the HOA, I believe. Yeah.
Man.
I always get it mixed up from the other one you had. Your YouTube and channel is High Octane Analysis. Yeah. You know, you guys who watch already know this guy. Xavier's the expert here, not me. And
Hey, man. I thought you did pretty good today. You know, you was pointing out some good stuff, man. You's giving some good information.
Yeah, you're doing a series on your channel, which you break down the top 3 players at each position. Is that right?
Oh,
That's right, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I already got 2 up. So I started with the receivers.
Yeah.
First at number 3, I had Tyreek Hill as my 3rd best receiver 2020. Then I uploaded Devontae Adams at number 2. Tomorrow, I'm going to upload my number 1, which is going to be DeAndre Hopkins. And then I'm going to move on to tight ends. Then I'm going to do running backs. Then I'm going to skip over to some offensive linemen, work on the centers and guards. And then I'll move back over and do like linebackers and safeties and corners, stuff like that. So got a lot of content coming out soon. I mean, I'm grinding. It's really all I can say. I'm getting back on it, man. You know, I took a little break there, but I'm back at it. So
we always need a little break. Sometimes you just need a little break. It's nice to do other things.
Of course.
But Xavier, thanks for joining me as always. Our next show, I want to try and get a show out Friday night. That can be a draft preview, not necessarily a mock draft, but a preview of the draft. If we think there's going to be any surprises, etc. Thanks to everyone for watching. If you made it this far through, let me know, and see you all later.